You know what I like to do?
Talk into a microphone?
Yeah, and also get in on the action with sports
Have a big
interaction.
head.
Yeah. Wear bare feet in the freezing cold.
Be a dad.
Friggin' wear V-necks that are actually
It's not a
crew-necks.
V-neck, okay?
Sorry.
Sports interaction. NHL, NBA, MLB, so much more. It's the friend I don't have, clearly. Crazy Odds, best live and play. Download the app in Ontario. You can use the QR code at the bottom of the screen, or you can head to sportsinteraction.com/STPN to get started. 19 plus. Please play responsibly and get better friends.
Yell at the computer. He does that too.
Speaking of Mike Bunting, 3-game suspension, which was a game over what Steve and I thought, 2 games over what Jesse thought.
Unreal. I don't get it.
That's a crazy. That's
It's basically a 4-game.
Where does that
no,
number
it's basically a 6-game.
Well, 7, because he got,
he got half
the penalty in the game. So 6.5.
It feels like the Leafs regularly get suspensions that are the length that suspensions ought to be. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So I have a hard time complaining about the 3 because that ought to be 3. It was a stupid hit, and it was a dirty hit, and it took a Tampa player out of the lineup. It can't happen. However, where is this league-wide? Why is Thomas Nosek got dick all? Did you see what he did to Eric Stahl?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Elbowed him in the fucking head!
No, but that's because
Nothing?
they've set a precedent where that's not how many games somebody gets suspended for this. Like that's
Well, they
not
don't set precedences, though. That's the
Nobody
problem.
in the NHL gets suspended 3 games for what Michael Bunting did. But if now all of a sudden that's the right thing to do, I don't understand where 3 games comes from.
A lot of people were talking about Nazem Kadri, and he very hilariously had the "come on, man, like leave me out of this one" tweet. Did you see that?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
The one I keep going back to as a suspension that came out of absolute nowhere was Jason Spezza getting suspended 6 games for his hit in that Jets game. Now, it was a dirty hit. And again, he should be suspended, intent to injure, all that. And maybe it should be 6 games for that. He played over 1,000 games before that hit happened, over nearly 2 decades. Had a crystal clear record. I don't even think he had a fine, let alone a suspension. And he got suspended 6 games, and this is relevant, in a 56-game season.
Yep.
9.3% of the season for a player with no history at all? Where the fuck did that come from? So I know Tampa fans are sick of the, it's, anti-Toronto whining or whatever. Fine. If you look at it at face value as whining, whatever. But what I'm asking about is specific incidences of why. I'm not comparing Bunting to Dumba. I understand why Dumba's hit is legal and Bunting's is not.
Yeah.
The Nosek one makes no sense.
Can I play the explanation from the league?
Hit me.
Let's hear it.
All right, Adam. Wow, these are your favorite people.
High-sticking history.
High-sticking history. Matty, you can't show this one because they use footage. But so, yeah. All right, here we go.
Just the audio?
Just the audio.
That's the best thing the league does is that sound. It's unreal.
Tuesday night in Toronto, Maple Leafs forward Michael Bunting was assessed a match penalty for an illegal check to the head of Lightning defenseman Eric Cernak, causing an injury. As the video shows, the Maple Leafs win a face-off and take a shot towards the goal that bounces into the corner. Bunting and Cernak turn to locate the puck, with Bunting slightly ahead of Cernak. Then, as the puck wraps around the net, Bunting cuts back into Cernak, elevating significantly into the contact and picking his head, making it the main point of contact on a hit where such head contact was avoidable. This is both an illegal check to the head and interference.
Yeah, it's a really
It is
stupid
important to note that both elements of the illegal check to the head rule are satisfied on this play. First, the head is clearly the main point of contact. Bunting's upper arm and elbow make forceful and direct contact with the head of Cernak, and it is the head that absorbs nearly all of the force of the check.
He just doesn't need to do that
Second,
at all.
the head contact on this play is avoidable. Bunting unnecessarily extends his body upward into Chernak's
Yes, he
head
does.
to deliver this check, missing his core completely and picking the head.
He's not even looking.
It is also important to note that this is also interference. Cernak is never in possession of the puck during this sequence.
Yeah, but you don't get
and
suspended for
therefore should
interference.
have no reason to
Right.
expect to be
cares?
checked, making him particularly vulnerable.
Yeah, but that's
This
a
is
really
also
good point
not
by
a
the
case
league.
in which two players approaching
He's
the
not
puck
eligible to be hit.
simultaneously
Yeah.
are mutually prepared for contact to occur as they battle for space. The puck is some distance from both players when contact is initiated by Bunting. This is an illegal check to the head delivered to a player who has no reason to anticipate any contact, let alone contact with sufficient force to cause an injury. To summarize,
Key points.
this is an illegal check to the head and interference.
High
Cernak
sticky.
suffered an injury on the play. Bunting has been neither fined nor suspended previously in his 187-game NHL career.
That's it?
The Department of Player Safety.
They convinced me a little.
Oh,
be honest.
they
No,
convinced me a
they're
lot.
not wrong.
I want to argue against it in 3 games. The only part of that video I will disagree with is they go, Cernak has no reason to assume contact. Shut up. It's dishonest.
No, that's the main point that got me, because they're 100% right in that's not a situation where he's expecting to be beamed like that.
He's not expecting
the puck
to be
is in the
hit.
corner.
He's not expecting to be hit, but we see battles like that.
Yes.
1,000 times a game, but the hits, he's not eligible to be hit.
Exactly.
Flatly.
Yeah.
Flatly,
So
no argument.
It makes it a little bit even more dangerous.
Yeah, I would just like to see this more.
I don't
have a problem with 3 games.
Odd. I guess they're allowed to do this, but the amount that a player is injured is taken into effect here. I didn't realize that was a criteria, because I don't think that's how it should be. I don't think the result of what you did should affect the punishment.
It's not until it is.
Yeah.
They're very pick and choosy.
Well,
with that.
the thing is, they don't establish standards, so then they don't have to be held to them.
Well,
right? That we've talked about that before, and that's their playbook. And we could sit here and bitch and whine and complain about it. Bunting deserved 2 games, or he deserved 3 games.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with what the league did here. What is interesting, though, what's very interesting, is the fan reaction to this, because Tampa Bay fans were noticeably pissed about it, obviously.
It's a horrible hit.
But so were Leaf fans. And, you put it out there last night I put it out there on my Twitter about Matt Knies. The way he's played, you cannot take him out of the lineup even when Bunting becomes available. You can't. If he keeps this up, you cannot take him out.
I don't know where he goes.
Well, and so this is the thing. A lot of people are like, let him golf.
I don't know where he goes.
And I think that's really interesting for a guy that scored over 100 points in the last 2 years, that had 50 points this year, 23 goals, and people are like, fucking keep him out. That's when we talk about liability. And when we first started bringing this up, people were like,
nice.
People were saying, 3-4 months ago in February, start bringing this up, people were like, oh, you guys, you're overreacting. Look where we are. He did not get a hold of it. Sheldon Keefe has tried to reach this player.
You're going to give 4 times 4 to a healthy scratch?
Absolutely not. No, he's not going to be a Leaf next year. Myrtle reported. No. I do. Myrtle reported this morning there have been no contract negotiations.
Well, that doesn't mean it's not happening.
Dubas loves an in-season extension. Loves an in-season extension,
doesn't he?
I think they're waiting to see whether this guy can put a head on his shoulders. And I wonder, even when he becomes available, are the Leafs like, why would we change this? If the Leafs keep winning, why would you change anything?
If you're not putting Michael Bunting back in the lineup, you're not putting him back in the lineup because you're afraid that his head's going to get too hot and he's going to do something dumb. Because then you're keeping the better player out of the lineup by scratching him. Like, he's a better player than Matthews Knies. There's no argument about that. One dude has played 4 career NHL
certainly
games.
more established. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you scratch him, it's a bet entirely on we need him not on the ice because he's going to do something dumb.
Well,
and
what's he shown you?
If you believe that, I can't fault you, because all of the evidence throughout his career has been that
I believe
he might fuck up.
I believe that.
When a coach gets fired, not when a coach gets fired, before a coach gets fired, what do they say? The coach has lost the room. What does that mean when a coach loses the room?
That means they've tuned him out.
Yeah, it means they're not listening.
Yeah.
The Leafs need a roster of 18 players who listen. He doesn't listen. I don't know what to do about that. He's fast. He's gritty. He wins battles. He can set up plays. He can score, and he could cost them the game. This was a winnable game. It was 4-2 in the second period.
He might even have been the guy that scored the goal that got them the 4-3.
No one would be shocked. I wouldn't be shocked. He's perfectly baked into their game plan. He's an ideal playoff player, except for he keeps getting kicked out of fucking games. God, are we getting deja vu or what? Like, so, Knies, I hate the comparison, and no, you don't deserve to be talked about right now. Enjoy your off season and stare at your Stanley Cup ring all summer. That's what I would do. But God, am I seeing some parallels? There's a player who provides something that the Leafs don't have in abundance, who cannot or will not stay in the lineup. What are we supposed to do with this information, Mike? Yarncroke's not coming out. We know Kerfoot's not coming out. Hell will freeze over before Keefe takes Kerfoot out. I don't see a situation where Aston Reese comes out, or it makes sense to take Aston Reese out. So really, it's Knies. And I tell you what, if he plays great over the next 2 games, if the Leafs are up 3-1 come game 5 when Bunting's...
You are not taking him out.
Fucking way. That, to me, was one of the biggest mistakes of Keefe's coaching tenure, is he, after the Leafs went up 2-1 against Montreal, he took out Sandin and put in Dermott. What did the Leafs do? They won 4-0. And what did he do? He went back to Sandin. What? Stop dicking with the lineup. You're up 3-1. You just won 4-0.
Just leave it.
Leave it! And then Sandin had a bad game 5. And it helped cost them the series. So if they're up 3-1, when his suspension's up, fuck that. You want to play him game 1 in round 2 if you get there? Fine.
It's a good reset.
It's a good reset. I totally understand that. If they have an opportunity to close this out in game 5, not a fucking chance.
And even if they don't close out in game 5, I don't think you put them in game 6. The more that if the Leafs get to 3 wins in this series, I don't think you can play Michael Bunting.
It's tough.
I don't think you can. Come on, guys. Are you comfortable with that? Honestly, tell me. Are you comfortable?
People are going to feel like this is picking on him. It's so disappointing to me because we called this for months. And then it happened, and no one was surprised.
And I think fans are really, really like, they're really like, it's not like they're mad, they're disappointed.
I mean, he betrayed Sheldon Keefe in a way, because Keefe had taken his toys away. He had taken them off the top line, and Keefe goes, "I'm betting on you, kid." And he puts them back on there. I think it was in the final regular season game. And then to start the playoffs. This is where you should be, Mike. I'm betting on you. What does he do? Cost him a playoff game. And everyone's job depends on it. What are you supposed to do?
Will be very interesting to see what happens